To our science lesson today, the 11th of May, 2020. Now, just to touch on what we did yesterday, and yesterday we were discussing those solids that do not mix with water. And we say, for example, solid like sand, solid like powdered milk, and maize flour do not mix with water. And so we say those solids that do not mix with water are said to be insoluble. So they are insoluble solids. The ones that mix with water completely to form a solution, they are called soluble solids. Now today's lesson is mixing of liquids. So in the other two lessons, we are discussing about solids mixing with water, and water being a solvent in that case. In our own lesson today, we are going to discuss liquids mixing with other liquids. So these are liquids that are going to mix with water, and for us to be able to understand that, we are going to carry out an experiment to know that those liquids that mix with water and those which do not mix with water. So we are going to enjoy today's lesson because it's going to be more of practicals. We are going to carry out practicals with various liquids, and you are going to see exactly what will be happening. So in our experiment today, we are going to have materials like 3 glasses which are very clear, and then 3 plastic containers that are also supposed to be clear. We are going to have water, we are going to have milk, we are going to have kerosene, and then we are going to have cooking oil. Those are the liquids that we're going to have on one side. Then, of course, we are going to mix them differently. Then the procedure will be, number 1, mix water and fresh milk, mix water and cooking oil, mix fresh milk and cooking oil, mix kerosene and water, mix kerosene and fresh milk, mix kerosene and cooking oil. Then after doing that, we are going to stir and then allow the mixture to stand for a while. Then, of course, we shall be able to observe and record what we are going to see in a table. After doing that, we shall be able to know the ones that mix and those which do not mix with water. So now, without wasting a lot of time, we are going to start with our first procedure. That is, we are going to mix water and fresh milk. Water and fresh milk. So Lana, this is our fresh milk. You can be able to see it so well. You can be able to see it well. And then we have water here. So I'm going to put water in a glass. This is a clear glass. So I'm going to add water. Then after adding water, I'm going to add fresh milk. Going to add fresh milk. That is fresh milk. After adding fresh milk, we are requested to stir and allow it to settle. So I'm doing the stirring. So we stir and we let it to settle. Number 2 mixture is water and cooking oil. So we are going to place water here. Our water is there. Then we pick cooking oil. Our cooking oil is here. Cooking oil. So we are going to add cooking oil into water. After doing that, Lana, we are going also to stir. We are going to stir and leave it to settle. We stir it well. Yes, that is enough. We leave it to settle. The third one is fresh milk and cooking oil. Fresh milk and cooking oil. Our fresh milk is here again. We add fresh milk there. And then we pick cooking oil and add to it. We are going to add cooking oil like that. After adding that, we are going to stir also. Going to stir and let it stand for a while before observing well. Kind of observe what is happening. So you have stirred enough. We are going to let it settle. Our next experiment, we are going to mix kerosene and water. My kerosene is here, and remember, Lana, kerosene is very dangerous. So once you are doing it at home, ensure that you are guided by a parent or a guardian to be able to mix this. Number one is flammable. If you put fire around it, it's going to erupt and cause fire. So take care when you are using this liquid. So we are going to have water. Our water is here. We add a little of water. Then pick kerosene and mix them. My kerosene is here. So we are going to mix kerosene there. After mixing, we advise to ensure that we stir and stir well. As you can see, I'm stirring. Don't use a utensil that is going to be used by anybody for feeding. That's why I chose to improvise and come up with this particular container, which is transparent, to ensure that you see everything. So I urge you also to improvise and come with something like this. So that is oil, kerosene and water. We are going to mix also kerosene and milk. Kerosene and milk. Kerosene and fresh milk. So we are going to add kerosene here. That is kerosene. Then to it we add fresh milk. We're going to add fresh milk like that. You can add more milk. You can add more milk. So we add more milk to ensure that you are able to see it. And then we stir well. You can be able to see Lana as I stir. I'm stirring it. This is kerosene and milk, fresh milk. Why fresh milk? You realize that when you add curdled milk, something else will come up. So we are supposed to use a fresh milk. And lastly, our last mixture will be a mixture of cooking oil and kerosene. Cooking oil and kerosene. First going to add some cooking oil here. You can be able to see it. Then I pick kerosene. I'll pour kerosene. You can be able to see that. After doing that, Lana, I'm going to stir. I'm going to stir. I think you can be able to see it well. Yes, Lana, you have stirred well. We let it to settle. So there we go. We have our experiments. You have stirred well. Then we are going to have a record of what we have done. So we are going to come up with a table. After doing that, we are going to come up with a table like this. So on one side we are going to have the liquids, and then on the other side observation. And in our observation we are going to say whether they mix or do not mix. So that's what we're going to write on the observation side. So number one, we are going to start with, of course, water and kerosene. Water and kerosene. We are going to say whether they mixed or not. Number two, we're going to have water and fresh milk. Water and fresh milk. Number three, we are going to have water and cooking oil. Water and cooking oil. Number four, we are going to have kerosene and fresh milk. Kerosene and fresh milk. Number five, we are going to have kerosene and cooking oil. And cooking oil. And lastly, number six, we are going to have fresh milk and cooking oil. Fresh milk and cooking oil, in that order. So now we are going to observe what we be able to do in our experiments, and we are going to pick each one of them and bring it here. See whether we can be able to observe something. Now we are going to pick the first experiment we did was water and kerosene. Water and kerosene. And our water and kerosene is here. Lana, I want you to see whether water and kerosene mixed and tell me. Observe well and tell me whether they really mixed. And if you have seen so well, you realize that our answer on the observation side will be do not mix. Water and kerosene do not mix. So that is what you can be able to say about water and kerosene. So on this side, we are going to write do not mix. Water and kerosene do not mix. The kerosene is going to float on water. The kerosene is going to float on water. Then we go to the second experiment, that is water and fresh milk. Water and fresh milk. Lana, our experiment of water and fresh milk is here. I want you to see what has been formed there. Have they mixed or not? If you have seen so well, you realize that water and fresh milk have mixed completely to form a solution. They have formed a solution. So you cannot see the water, you cannot see the milk. They are together. So we are saying that water and fresh milk has mixed completely. So here on this side we're going to say mix. Our item number 3, water and cooking oil. Water and cooking oil. Water and cooking oil. There we go. This is our water and cooking oil. Lana, you can be able to see it well. If you see it well, you realize that the cooking oil, which is yellowish, is on top of water. And so you can be able to see a layer here, up to there, and another layer there, meaning that they have not mixed. If they have formed 2 layers, meaning that each one of it is on its own. So water and cooking oil do not mix. Place it there. So say do not mix. Our next item is kerosene and fresh milk. Kerosene and fresh milk. Like I said, kerosene is very, very, very dangerous. It's flammable. So you are supposed to treat it with a lot of care. Take caution when you are doing this. Now, Lana, I want you to observe well and you realize that we have 2 layers. We have a clear layer from this point to this point. That is kerosene. Then you see another white layer from here up to here. That is fresh milk. So what can we conclude? That fresh milk and kerosene do not mix. Fresh milk and kerosene do not mix. So here we are going to write do not mix. Our fifth item was kerosene and cooking oil. Kerosene and cooking oil. Kerosene and so this was kerosene and cooking oil. Lana, this the water. Our kerosene and cooking oil is here. Kerosene and cooking oil. Lana, can you be able to observe something? See it clearly and tell me whether you can be able to see layers. If you see it clearly, there is no layer. Meaning that kerosene and cooking oil mix to form a solution. One solution. You can't be able to differentiate between the cooking oil and the kerosene. So they have mixed completely. So this one mix. We realize that kerosene and cooking oil mix. Our last experiment that we did was fresh milk and cooking oil. Fresh milk and cooking oil. There we go. Wow. You can be able to see the cooking oil here on this side, which is yellowish. So we have one layer of cooking oil. Then down here, we have some white thing. That white thing is milk. Meaning that cooking oil is on its own side. Then we have the milk. Meaning that milk and cooking oil do not mix. And so they form two layers. Cooking oil and milk do not mix. So in our table we are going to write do not mix. So there we go. That's our table. We can be able to monitor and see that 1, 2 were able to mix. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 did not mix. That is, water and kerosene did not mix. Water and fresh milk mixed. Water and cooking oil do not mix. Kerosene and fresh milk do not mix. Kerosene and cooking oil mix. Then fresh milk and cooking oil do not mix. We are through, Lana, with our experiments. So what we are going to do, we are going to write something very little. We are going to answer some few questions. We are going to answer some few questions. I'm going to help you answer these questions. I'm going to say, what liquids, which liquids mixed, which liquids mixed, and we can be able to answer that fresh milk and kerosene, they mixed. Fresh milk and water mixed. Then cause kerosene and cooking oil. Fresh milk and kerosene did not mix, sorry. Fresh milk and water mixed, then kerosene and cooking oil mixed. Then which liquids did not mix? Which liquids did not mix? We have a number of them. Number one is fresh milk and fresh milk and water. And kerosene. Then we have fresh milk and cooking oil. not mix. Then we have water and kerosene. Water and kerosene did not mix. And lastly, water and cooking oil. Water and cooking oil did not mix. What informed you that these liquids mix and this one did not mix? How can we be able to identify liquids that have mixed and the ones that have not mixed? Now, in liquids which mix, you will not be able to see layers as compared to these where liquids did not mix. You're able to see two layers, meaning that each liquid was on its own. And so that's what you just look at to identify which ones have mixed and which ones have not mixed. So the last part, Lana, that I want us to discuss is that liquids that mix to form a solution are known as miscible liquids. Remember, when we're dealing with solids, we said insoluble solids in a liquid. But in liquids, we don't talk about insoluble again. We talk about miscible. Liquids mix, so it say miscible. So they are called miscible liquids, and they form. So liquids that mix to form a uniform solution, supposed to be a uniform solution, are known as miscible liquids, and they form a solution known as homogeneous solution. They form what we call an homogeneous solution. The liquids are miscible liquids and they form homogeneous solution. Number two, we have liquids that do not mix. If liquids do not mix, for example, saying kerosene and water, here we can give an example of fresh milk and water, and the rest that we have seen. So liquids that do not mix are said to be immiscible liquids. Liquids that do not mix are said to be immiscible liquids, and they form heterogeneous solution. They form an heterogeneous solution, meaning that this is composed of layers. You'll find two or more layers because the liquids do not mix, they are immiscible. So a good example of this is kerosene and water. They do not mix, and therefore we call them immiscible liquids which form heterogeneous solution. Then the last thing about this is that the last thing about this is that it's a note actually. Have a note. Liquids that mix with water do not mix with any petroleum product. Lana, I want you to understand that any liquid that mixes with water to form a solution, an homogeneous solution, those liquids do not mix with any petroleum product. Let's for example, take fresh milk. Fresh milk mixes well with water to form a solution that is uniform. If we put fresh milk and cooking oil, you have seen what the result is. That fresh milk is here, cooking oil is here. They have not mixed. Cooking oil is a petroleum product. We also tried kerosene mixing with cooking with milk, and this is what you can be able to see. That there are two layers, kerosene and fresh milk. That tells us that any liquid that mixes with water does not mix with any petroleum product. So Lana, this is what I wanted us to get clear, so that even if you are given a group of liquids, you are asked which one mix, which one do not mix. If you follow this well, you are going to get it very easy to be able to answer those questions. And then lastly, spirit and water mixes to form a solution, to form a uniform solution. If you are going to get some spirit back at home, try to mix with water, and you'll find that these will going to mix to form a uniform solution. So we are saying that in case of cooking oil and water, you realize that the heavier liquid is at the bottom and the lighter one is on top. This is all about their densities. The less dense is found on top, then the denser one will be found at the bottom. So Lana, we are able to know the liquids that mixes with water and liquids that mix and which do not mix. So we're going to follow what we have done and just try to do this at home, but with an help of a guardian. So until next time, may God bless you. Practice what we have done. You can be able to see clearly our mixtures here. They are here. That is kerosene and fresh milk. Our next one is here, cooking oil and fresh milk. The next one is here, cooking oil and kerosene. They mixed well. The next one is here, fresh milk and water. They mixed well to form a solution, an homogeneous solution. Next one is here. This is water and kerosene. They did not mix, so we call them heterogeneous. This is an heterogeneous solution, and so the two are immiscible. Then lastly, we add water and cooking oil. You can be able to see it clearly that they formed an heterogeneous solution, and therefore they are immiscible liquids. So until next time, Lana, have a nice evening. Enjoy yourselves at home. Carry out the experiment with the aid of a parent or a guardian, and let's meet tomorrow for another interesting lesson. Thank you. God bless you.